What is the best water shoe for adventure? Now there's two important things that you need to know before you watch this video. Number one, this is not sponsored. These shoes were paid for at full retail price. Number two, if you want to buy these shoes after watching this video, I have some affiliate links down below in the description. It would help me out. I get a small percentage of that sale. It doesn't cost you anything extra. So if you want to buy the shoe, please use one of the affiliate links in the description. If all you want to know is the best water shoe, I'll tell you straight out, it's the Adidas Terrex Voyager. But stick around for the entire video because there are some pros and cons about this shoe. What I love about this shoe primarily is the soles are made of a special type of rubber called stealth rubber. If you don't know anything about this rubber, a bit of history. In 2011, Adidas bought a company called 510. 510 was a manufacturer of mountain bike shoes, climbing shoes, approach shoes, and Adidas bought 510 just so that they could own the patent to 510's stealth rubber. That's how good the stealth rubber soles are. Having shoes with sticky rubber is tremendously important for the type of stuff that I do, looking for hidden waterfalls, natural water slides, getting all up in the creeks and canyons and caves where you're dealing with a lot of wet rock, particularly around like coastlines when you're looking for sea caves. But anytime you have water and rock and you're going back and forth between the two, the stealth rubber is superior. Now Adidas and 510 make a whole different array of shoes that have stealth rubber on them. One of the main reasons why I prefer the Voyager is it has drain holes. So you have adequate drainage, and the upper is a very light material so it doesn't hold on to water, because some of the other shoes with stealth rubber, they take a long time to dry because the upper material, although it may be stronger, it takes a heck of a lot longer to dry. It acts like a sponge. And so these drain holes, there's actually holes in the bottom of the shoe, and then they come out this drainage. You're dealing with a product where not only do you get the sticky rubber, but you also get that drainage. Now they make a ton of different versions of these, and for the last year I've been wearing the Adidas Stealth Voyager Parlay, and the main reason I bought those is because the upper material was made from recycled sea plastic, and I thought that was an awesome way to show support for this project where they're trying to reduce plastic waste in the oceans and they're making shoes out of it. So for the last year, that's what I've been wearing. However, some of you may know this, but I lost one of those shoes jumping off a 100-foot cliff jump here in New Zealand. I lost one of my parlays, and unfortunately, I have not been able to find the Terrex Voyager in New Zealand. So I had some family members ship me this Adidas Terrex Summer RDY. And the reason why I wanted to try this one out, it has a beefier toe box in the front here. Still has the drain holes, still has the stealth rubber, still has this upper material that doesn't hold water. And it's actually a little bit stronger than the Parlay. And so far, I'm loving the Summer RDY. But like I said, the Terrex Voyager comes in a lot of different varieties, so whatever you can find, and at the end of the day, whatever you can find with stealth rubber is the key. Now, as much as I love these shoes, they do have some drawbacks. Number one, they are not the most durable. And I literally have only worn these once, and they're already starting to show a little bit of wear here. And the other ones I had, the Parlays, also wore in the same spot. I don't know if it's a design flaw, but when you're rock hopping and sometimes my foot gets wedged in between some rocks or something like that, they kind of seem to all wear in this one particular spot. That being said, I did have the Parlays for over a year, and although they did start wearing in that spot pretty early, the rest of the shoe was intact for that year, and I beat the crap out of those shoes from Vancouver to Switzerland to Nepal, Thailand, and here in New Zealand. I mean, we were jumping in cliffs, we were doing rock hopping, boulder scrambling, climbing waterfalls, finding natural water slides. I put those through the paces, and although they wore a couple small holes in that upper part, the stealth rubber stayed intact and they were still fully functional, and I'd still be wearing them right now if I hadn't lost one on that cliff jump. Another aspect of stealth rubber, although it is super sticky, that means what happens is it wears out quicker. If you wear these shoes as your everyday shoe, you're gonna wear out that rubber a lot faster, and I've heard some reviews of actually the rubber leaving marking on like floors, tile floors and stuff like that. Like that really soft rubber sometimes will scuff floors and leave like black marks on it. I would not recommend this as an everyday shoe. You know, much like you have specific shoes for other sports like wrestling, basketball, you know, soccer and football cleats, I would primarily only use these for water adventures, and in particular where you're going in and out of water and you're having to climb rocks and scramble across rocks in caves, canyons, and stuff like that. The arch support isn't that great, and I think the reason why they did that is because they wanted to make the insoles porous, so they have holes in them, so they're not that strong. So if you have issues with your arches, I would recommend getting like an aftermarket insole to get a little more arch support. I found that, you know, longer hikes, 8 to 10 miles in these, my arches started hurting for several days afterwards, so I had to make accommodations for that. Another thing is ankle support. Obviously it's a low top shoe, so you're not gonna get ankle support if you have bad ankles. And I do have bad ankles from years of playing basketball and spraining both my ankles repeatedly. But even with my bad ankles, I actually did okay with the low tops. If you're looking for something in a high top, I recommend the Adidas Terrex Hydralace. And they are actually starting to make a parlay version called a free hiker, I believe, that has the stealth rubber, it has drainage, and it has a high top. So keep an eye out for that as well. The idea basically is the drainage and the stealth rubber. So whatever combination you can find those in. Primarily, I have found it in the Terrex Voyagers, and I think there's like 3 or 4 different makes of that Voyager. In terms of pros versus cons, for me, the stuff that I do, the pros far outweigh the cons. And because I'm only using it for water adventures, I'm not wearing out the rubber that quickly. You know, the hole, like I said, it didn't spread to the entire shoe. It was kind of just in one particular area, so not a big deal. And for the amount of wear and tear I put on it in the last year, totally acceptable. So if you're into doing adventures where you're rock scrambling, rock hopping, if you're into exploring sea caves and looking for hidden waterfalls, canyons, creeks, caves, especially natural water slides. When I'm standing on the edge of a natural water slide or right before a cliff jump, I want to make sure that my feet are glued to that rock so that I take off when I want to take off and I don't slip and potentially fall down a 50-foot cliff. These are the shoe that I highly recommend, Adidas Terrex Voyager. I've tried a ton of things on the market. I've tried some 510s with stealth rubber that didn't have the drainage and they absorbed water, and they were okay, but these are far superior. One last con of these shoes that I've found is they don't particularly perform all that well in mud, especially deep mud. I don't know if it's anything based on the stickiness of the rubber, if it's just anecdotal, but I find that for some reason, mud doesn't come off of these as easy, and so I would not recommend these for like a trail runner type shoe. Adidas has other shoes that would be better for that. This is primarily for wet rocks, in and out of water, and you're going across rocks. So if you're gonna be doing trail running, anything where you're dealing with like deep mud, I would not recommend this shoe. I hope you found this review helpful. If you like this video, give it a thumb up, but the most important thing, get out there, find your adventure, and be infamous.
Infamous.